welcome to another video. This is a thread that I'm jumping on from a channel called Gatefold33, which I heard of through one of the other channels that I follow, Randall Weaver. Be sure to subscribe to Randy's channel. And it's kind of a neat concept. What it is to show an album, a record, what have you, from each year that you were alive on Earth. And it's neat because Randy's doing his in sections. Randy is a little bit older than I am, so he's dividing his videos up. I'm going to try to cram all of these albums into one video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in a different way. I'm going to start with this year and work my way back to the year I was born, which will be the big reveal at the end. What year was I born? So without further ado, let me just jump right in. I'm just going to say a couple of things about each album, move on to the next one. All right, for 2021, this is the latest album from Jackson Browne called Downhill From Everywhere. I got to see Jackson earlier in the summer with James Taylor. He did some songs from this album. It's really a good record. Probably 3/4 of it are great, and then the other quarter of it is so-so. But it's worth having if you like Jackson Browne. Next up, how fitting, Mr. James Taylor, who is kind of promoting this album still. It came out right when the world shut down last year. It's his standard album called American Standard. It's got a bunch of old songs that he used to love singing and growing up with, like Moon River, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, God Bless the Child, Pennies from Heaven. So just a neat little array of songs. I like the record a lot. It's very relaxing. And it's got John Pizzarelli on it, fantastic guitarist. All right, 2019, a little country for you folks, some Tyler Childers. And if you like Tyler Childers, you know what I'm talking about when I say that he is a great future for country music, of true country music, not the crap that's on the it's on the radio right now. He was a kind of a descendant of John Prine. He got to tour with John for a few years when he was just starting out. This album is produced by Sturgill Simpson, another one of these neo country artists that loved and worshiped John Prine. It's only 9 songs, but it's a perfect album, I think. And I just bought it this year, but it's from 2019, and that is the album Country Squire by Tyler Childers. Alrighty, 2018, another one of my favorite bands, kind of on the Americana country spectrum, The Wild Feathers. This is their album, Greetings from the Neon Frontier. Currently my favorite Wild Feathers album. They're big fans of like Tom Petty, the band, Bob Dylan, probably some Springsteen, stuff like that. Just a killer rock and roll record, Greetings from the Neon Frontier. 2017, this is Pokey Lafarge. I've talked about him a little bit. This is his album Manic Revelations, which was a huge change in style from some of his earlier stuff, which was more ragtime, kind of in the vein of Leon Redbone, if you know Leon Redbone, and some ragtime stuff. This album is more rockabilly and 50s sounding. So Manic Revelations by Pokey Lafarge, and I got to meet Pokey on this tour. 2016, knew I had to talk about the Monkees. This is Good Times. This is the album that got me started in the Monkees. It's a beautiful record, perfect album, produced by Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne, and all 4 Monkees are given some airtime on this album, including Davy Jones with the archival song. And it's just a perfect record. I've talked about it in tons of videos. Alright, 2015, this is Paradise by the Wood Brothers, another Americana band, trio out of Georgia, Oliver Wood, Chris Wood, and percussionist Jono Ricks. Of course, you know Chris Wood if you follow any kind of jazz. He was from Medeski, Martin, and Wood. He's still part of it. He's a bass player. If you like the band, if you like Bob Dylan, if you like Tom Petty, Americana, roots stuff, They're a killer rock band too. I've seen them a couple times. Love them to death. Paradise by the Wood Brothers. 2014, this is an album I didn't really care much for, but I'm glad to have it. This is The Endless River by Pink Floyd. It's essentially an instrumental album, with the exception of Louder Than Words. This was kind of released as a tribute to Richard Wright, who had passed away, the keyboardist. So David Gilmour and Nick Mason put this together using a lot of sessions from the Division Bell era. So The Endless River. All right, 2013, this is the sophomore album by The Head and the Heart called Let's Be Still, American indie band out of Seattle. Killer band. They were kind of like my unofficial quarantine band, and killer songs on here: Homecoming Heroes, Another Story, Summertime, Gone. It's just a really good album if you like indie folk stuff. So Let's Be Still by The Head and the Heart. And 2012, this is definitely my reintroduction to the Beach Boys. Their reunion album, That's Why God Made the Radio. You have Mike Love, Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, Bruce Johnston, and David Marks coming together to celebrate their 50th anniversary. Great Brian Wilson tunes. The second half is a beautiful, sweet, a la Smile, Pet Sounds. Some of Brian's best work is on this album. I would love for them to do one more for their 60th anniversary, which is coming up, but you know, it's not looking promising. But anyway, That's Why God Made the Radio by the Beach Boys. Alrighty, let me move to this stack here. Moving into the mid 2010s and back. Excuse me, 2010 and back. This is the Decemberists, The King is Dead. Very folky. They almost sound very UK sounding, but they're not. American band, great stuff. Probably their biggest song on here, Down by the Water, Rocks in the Box, the big one. January Hymn was kind of the song that kicked me in the teeth when I first heard it. Loved it to death. Great indie album, The King is Dead by the Decemberists. All right, 2010, this is Johnny Cash, Ain't No Grave. This is produced by Rick Rubin. Of course, this is a posthumous release from some of the last sessions that Johnny Cash did before he passed away. He does some great covers: For the Good Times, Can't Help But Wonder Where I'm Bound, Aloha O, great stuff. Aloha Oi at the end is just one of the saddest things you'll hear, like a swan song. 2009, this is a great album if you don't know it. This is The Crow by Steve Martin. And Steve Martin, of course, is a very talented banjo player. He's been doing banjo since his stand-up days in the 70s. And this is a great bluegrass record. It's produced by John McEwen of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, who Steve Martin went to school with and taught him banjo. You have guest performers on here: Mary Black, Vince Gill, Tim O'Brien, Dolly Parton, Earl Scruggs, Tony Trischka, and Pete Wernick. And it's all really Steve Martin originals. So it's a really great record. 2008, this was a huge surprise when it came out. This is the debut album by Mudcrutch, who is, of course, Tom Petty's band that he had before the Heartbreakers. They reunited in 2008 to produce this album, and it's a great album. It was made in 10 days, as the liner notes say. They didn't use any headphones. It's a lot of traditional stuff. There's some originals, a lot of traditional, a couple of covers, including Lover of the Bayou, which was written by Roger McGuinn of the Byrds. They open with a killer version of Shady Grove. So it's 3/5 of the Heartbreakers plus Tom Leadon and Randall Marsh to make up Mudcrutch. Alright, 2007, this is Traffic and Weather by Fountains of Wayne. A very cool power pop album. This is I think this is their second to last record. It opens with a great song, Someone to Love. Yolanda Hayes is a good one. Fire in the Canyon is a great, like, almost infamous String Dusters kind of sound. New Routine is a great one. Just great rock and roll. Traffic and Weather, Fountains of Wayne. Alrighty, 2006. This is Four Thieves Gone, the Robbinsville Sessions by the Avett Brothers. Very raw album. It opens with the song Talk on Indolence, which is a huge live staple for them. They do Distraction number 74, Left on Laura, Left on Lisa, Famous Flower of Manhattan, Denouncing November Blue. Just great stuff on here. Like I said, really raw, kind of acoustic, some punk elements to it when they were still really, kind of embracing their punk phase before they really got into full-on songwriting with Rick Rubin. Next, another one of my more recent favorite albums. This is 2005's Plans by Death Cab for Cutie. And I really started getting into Death Cab for Cutie thanks to my friend Chris, who watches my videos. Thanks, Chris. Ben Gibbard, the lead artist of Death Cab, he wrote the song Me and Magdalena on the Good Times Monkey album. This album, of course, has Soul Meets Body, which is a radio song, I Will Follow You Into the Dark, Crooked Teeth, Brothers on a Hotel Bed, just a really good indie album. Another Seattle band, Death Cab for Cutie, Plans. 2004, one of the best debut albums of all time. This is Hot Fuss by The Killers. Of course, this has all these things that I've done. It's got Mr. Brightside, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, Believe Me, Natalie. It's just a killer rock record. It's not really heartland rock, but you can tell they get inspiration from Springsteen and that kind of 80s style. This was killer record. Brandon Flowers, fantastic singer. All right, this is my only re-release that I'm showing, and it would be Let It Be Naked, which came out in 2003. I couldn't find a 2003 original album, so of course Let It Be was originally released in 1970. McCartney decided in the early 2000s to do Let It Be Naked, which takes away a lot of the Phil Spector production, takes away some of the filler with like Dig It and Maggie May, and then also adds Don't Let Me Down on it, which was a single. So this is Let It Be Naked. It's okay. It's not as good as Let It Be, but it's okay. All right, moving on to 2002. This is A Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay. Great songs on here. Politic, The Scientist, Clocks. Amsterdam is a great song. Coldplay ruled radio in the early 2000s. They're still pretty radio friendly, and I'm not a big fan of their newer sound, but when they were like this, they were really channeling their inner U2 and McCartney kind of stuff. So A Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay. Sorry for the stretch, but this moves me into my last stack to the big reveal of the year I was born. So let's move to 2001. This is Love and Theft by Bob Dylan, actually released on September the 11th, 2001. So it didn't do probably as well as it should have done, but it's really gained acclaim as being one of Dylan's hallmark albums to kind of reinstate himself in the turn of the century. So Love and Theft, songs Mississippi, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, High Water for Charlie Patton, Honest with Me, great stuff, produced by Bob. Alrighty, the last one of the 2000s is a soundtrack, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, produced by T-Bone Burnett. Of course, this was from the film Oh Brother Where Art Thou, starring George Clooney, done by the Coen brothers. Great bluegrass and old-time country stuff on here. You have artists like Norman Blake, Alison Krauss, the Whites, Emmylou Harris, the Cox family, John Hartford, Ralph Stanley, all sorts of good stuff. it's one of the best soundtracks of all time. So, Oh Brother Art Thou to finish off the 2000s. All right, let's check out the 90s. This is 1999's Mule Variations by Tom Waits, considered by many to be one of his best. I know Glenn Kellaway, my friend, I think this is his favorite Tom Waits album. Great stuff on here. It opens with just a raucous song, Big in Japan. Beautiful ballad, Hold On. House Where Nobody Lives is beautiful. What's He Building is kind of like a creepy, like haunted house kind of storytelling, spoken word piece. Picture in a Frame is beautiful. And then, of course, the big finish is Come On Up to the House, which has really taken on a life of its own in the Americana world. And my band has done it as well. So, Mule Variations, 1999. All right, everybody, this is probably the big, what some of you all might call a guilty pleasure. I'm kind of the mindset where I shouldn't be guilty about the music that I like. I grew up loving boy bands and that sort of thing. And I have no shame to say 1998, NSYNC. I absolutely love these songs. I love NSYNC. Tearing Up My Heart. Here We Go. God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You. I Want You Back. Just it's great stuff. It's good. It's just good pop music. I love it to death. I would put it in now and not bat an eye. So that's 1998. NSYNC's self-titled. 97. This is The Healing Game by Van Morrison. Great stuff on here. This was the re-release that came out in 2019, but the original album came out in 97. Rough God Goes Riding, Fire in the Belly are the first two songs. Still live staples in his live sets. The Healing Game's a great song. Sometimes We Cry. And then there's other stuff on this set, but I'm going to focus on the main album. It's hard to go wrong with Van Morrison. He knocks them out in a year that he puts out music, which is really about every year. So it was hard to pick which Van Morrison I wanted to show. Speaking of Tim O'Brien, who I mentioned on the Oh Brother Art Thou soundtrack, this is 1996's Red on Blonde. It's a tribute album that he did for Bob Dylan. He does a lot of deep cuts by Bob. Farewell Angelina is beautiful. He does Senor, Tales of Yankee Power, which has really become a big bluegrass staple. He also does like Forever Young, Maggie's Farm, but Everything Is Broken, Lay Down Your Weary Tune, Man Gave Name to All the Animals. Really great bluegrass record. So Red on Blonde, check it out if you like Bob Dylan. All right, 1995 is a classic. What's the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis. It's one of those perfect albums. People give Oasis a lot of crud for being a Beatles tribute band. They say all sorts of things that aren't true. Of course, I mean, Oasis is a direct descendant of the Beatles. There's no questioning, but they're their own group. Of course, this has songs like Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, but also great stuff. She's Electric, Some Might Say, Cast No Shadow, Morning Glory. Roll With It. It's just a perfect album. It's perfect. Every song is perfect. Yeah, what can I say? What's the Story? Morning Glory. Which means, I'm down to my last record, which means, you guessed it, I was born 1994. I'm 27. And Wildflowers, 1994, Tom Petty. What can you say? My favorite American band is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is essentially a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album and everything but name. I mean, this is considered by many his masterpiece. Wildflowers, You Don't Know How It Feels, Time to Move On, You Wreck Me, It's Good to Be King. Then he's got like Honeybee, To Find a Friend, Higher Place, Crawling Back to You. It's 15 tracks of fantastic music. He just came out with a box set not too long ago for the 25th anniversary. I'm glad that this came out the year I was born because I wanted to finish on this one, Wildflowers. So that's it. Check out, this thread, see if you can jump onto it. I had fun doing it. Thank you to Randall Weaver for doing a video on it to inspire me. And yeah, let me know if y'all are going to do videos, and I look forward to seeing them. Take care, everyone. Talk to y'all real soon.